Welcome, 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 everyone, and happy Thursday. This, of course, is your favorite show every single Thursday. It is Talent Experience Live, the show that covers everything that you need to know in talent acquisition, talent management, recruiting, and human resources as a whole. I am your host, Devin Foster, and I am back from my long walk that John Deal said that I was on last week. I saw the world, I saw the sights. And they are beautiful. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Talent Experience Live is proudly brought to you by the good folks here at Phenom, whose purpose is to help 1 billion people find the right work. Of course, that is not a typo. It is why we host great programs like this, why we have fantastic blogs, fantastic products, and everything in between. And also, why we are hosting a little thing called Industry Week next week, which is what today's show is all about. But the main way, the true way that we help 1 billion people find the right work is through our Intelligent Talent Experience platform, which helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve some next level productivity and efficiency, and managers get to build better teams through data analytics and automation. And of course, all of this is powered by super slick artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if any of that interests you at all, do not walk over to phenom.com, where you'll see a ton of promotion for Industry Week and everything along those lines. So don't forget to register, and we'll get right into it. We will talk about Industry Week today. Today's a sneak peek for sector-specific strategies for success. Industry Week kicks off next week, starting Monday, July 29th through August 2nd, where we're going to dive into HR challenges and solutions across specific industries. So retail, hospitality, healthcare, manufacturing and transportation, as well as financial services. And we are going to be joined by a plethora of fantastic speakers, industry leaders, and everyone in between. But that's just the beginning of it. Today, I have a very special guest. I am joined by Bill Ventiker, I believe I said that correctly, who has been working day and night to make sure Industry Week goes off without a hitch, so that we provide truly a great experience for everyone in every single one of those industries. Because obviously, we're all faced with this very similar challenge of trying to find and retain talent. However, it's very different for, let's say, a DHL Group versus a Regions Bank or someone in between. So Bill has had his finger on the pulse, and without any hesitation, I'm going to bring him onto the program. Bill, how are you?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me, Devin. Welcome back.
Thank you for joining. How was the intro? For those of you who don't know, I was on paternity leave for the past month or so. I come back and Industry Week is happening. It's next week. Bill, did I do okay with the introduction? Did I miss anything right off the bat?
You did great. I'm really excited to tell the audience about it. And we're so lucky to have such amazing resources, both at Phenom and in the HR community, that can talk about these challenges and the solutions that are really, really applicable today. So thanks for bringing me in to talk about it.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm excited. I've had, a sneak peek on some of the guests and things like that. But this is a new thing that we're doing here at Phenom. We've done AI Day. We've obviously had like 6 IM Phenoms, everything along those lines. What is Industry Week? What, for the people at home who may have missed their email or not been on social media for the past month, tell us what Industry Week is.
Sure. So Phenom Industry Week is really intended to be a dynamic virtual event that's 5 days that tackles all the unique HR challenges that HR professionals are facing in all of these different industries. We were trying to decide which industries we needed to focus on, and there are millions of workers that work in the industries that you mentioned. According to the Bureau for Labor Statistics, there's about 135 million people who work in the US in our economy, those that aren't like government or farming employees, right? And the industries we're featuring include 83 million of them. That's like 62% of the people that work in this country. There's other studies that show across the world, there's like 3.5 billion people in the global workforce. And if you take out the 1.5 billion of them that are self-employed, the vast majority of the rest of the employed people in the world work in these industries. So it's so important to find ways to take advantage of the technology that's available to us. And for HR professionals, we really need to find a way to make that candidate and employee experience truly amazing in these industries. Like you said, the event starts off on Monday next week, goes all the way through the week. And for HR professionals, we've even taken the step to make sure that this event is certified by the Society for HR Management, for SHRM, so that for the people that can take a few minutes out of their day to attend, they get that professional development credit for attending too.
Sure, credits are so important. My wife, she works in the HR industry, and there's times at the end of the year where she's like, I need more credits. Where can I go? And I'm like, don't worry, we have webinars, we have this. So Industry Week is super helpful for that. It's interesting, the industries that we focus on, you mentioned it is a large, portion of the US workforce. Yeah. Right off the bat, it almost feels like they are the frontline workers that we talk about. Like, I want to ask you, as far as the flow of the week, I think we start off with retail and then work our way towards financial services. Maybe this was just by coincidence, but it almost feels like we started with those heroes that we talked about, during the pandemic, the people that couldn't work from home, that needed to be, out in the workforce wearing masks, protecting themselves and risking getting sick. And we work our way into financial services. Was that planned, sort of the flow of, here is, we'll start with retail and then we'll work our way into kind of knowledge workers?
Yeah, I absolutely think that the frontline workers of the world are the teams that are keeping our economy running. And it's really why HR teams are so critical for business success. Because if you don't have the people in your organization with the right skills to create that customer experience for the people that are coming to your businesses every single day, you're not going to survive. The competition is only rising, and these are the people that make business run. We've brought together a whole bunch of speakers for this event, and we don't have some of those frontline workers involved, but we've brought together association ambassadors that their whole mission is to not only fight for policies and changes in the way that these industries overall are addressing hiring and retaining employees, but they are really focused on changing the way that these industries are going into the future, and they're thinking about it all day long. And then we have the HR professionals from some of the world's biggest brands that are joining us too. And they deal with those frontline workers and the professionals on their team every single day. And they have amazing insights and strategies and solutions to some of these problems. So I can't wait to hear from all of them. And we absolutely are starting with retail and hospitality, with restaurants and hotels. But no single day is longer than about an hour and a half. We really want to make sure that we're empowering the attendees with knowledge that they can use, resources that they can find, and provide them things that they can do right now to attract those young people, the workforce of the future, and find and add the skilled staff that they need to their industries, and give them the tools for hiring and improving retention and kind of inspiring change to those overall HR practices in each of their fields for the better. So, from a flow perspective, each day is a dedicated platform to professionals in each of the different sectors. We know that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to this. You have to focus on the problems and solutions that matter most to people in each of these industries. So this allows us to demonstrate how Phenom's technology and strategies from thought leaders can help meet each individual industry's needs. So we're starting with retail and restaurants. Retail is the first day. Restaurants and hotels is day 2. Day 3 is one of the largest employers in North America and across the world, and it's only growing more and more, which is healthcare. As we have a global aging population, they have huge challenges because they need to be providing healthcare services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And just as the population is getting older, the experts in healthcare and the frontline workers in healthcare are getting older too. So they have a big challenge ahead of them. There's been a huge shift in the US economy from a culture of manufacturing into a culture of knowledge workers, right? So the manufacturing and transportation industry is so critical to the future of our country and the world. So that's our focus for day 4. If you think about how all of those companies in a supply chain have to work together to produce goods, warehouse them, transport them, and get them someplace where all of us can buy them, any one of those companies that don't have the right staff and the right people working for them, they can break that entire supply chain, just like how things broke down during the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then banking and financial services is another key industry where it's super, super competitive. You need frontline workers to advise the world on the right decisions to make on their financial health. And you need frontline workers and skilled experts in that industry. So can't wait to talk about that one also.
You know, it's super exciting. And you mentioned kind of the squeeze that is happening on talent acquisition with, you know, older individuals sort of going into retirement, and then this new plethora of talent coming into the workforce. And it reminds me of a conversation. I can't remember who it was with a few years ago, but the times have changed where organizations can recruit and not face competition outside of their industry, right? So we focused on creating this seamless experience for everyone where it is e-commerce, like it's super easy to apply and everything like that. But this is almost starting to get back to that original forefront of, yes, you are competing for the same talent, whether you are in retail or whether you are in manufacturing and transportation. However, in order to appeal to that new batch of talent that's coming in, you have to showcase what makes you unique, right? What makes your industry different from the others? Right. Because even if you are working in the lawn care industry, you still may have to compete with, let's say, the Amazons of the world or the Grubhubs or whoever it may be. So in order to do that, you have to showcase what makes you unique. And I know we have a fantastic lineup of speakers for this event. Tell us a few of them. Customer speakers you mentioned, as well as some of the industry leaders. Let's start with customer speakers who are really differentiating themselves when it comes to industrial hiring.
Sure. Well, and addressing those challenges that you just laid out, the best way to figure out how to plan for the future and be proactive in our HR strategies to help businesses meet their future goals like that is by listening to your peers, hearing how others have solved these challenges, and then finding industry associations where you can collaborate, share stories, run ideas past each other. There's so much innovation happening within these industries because of that competition and because of the influx of technology. So, on the customer side, we've got so many amazing customers that want to tell their story about how they're changing their HR strategy by partnering with us. So we have Kim Nicholas, who's joining us from the Warehouse Group in New Zealand. We have Mandy Wagner, who's the Vice President of HR Operations at Lifetime. We have Yvette Hansen, who is the Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging and Talent Acquisition at Baylor Scott White Health. That's going to be a really amazing conversation with her. Yeah. We've got Meredith Wellard joining us, who has over 600,000 employees across the world at DHL Group. And then we have Ryan King, who's an Executive Vice President for Regions Bank, who will be joining us also. And those stories are so important, but like I said, there's so many resources available out there. So we have Adam Lukowski from the National Retail Federation joining us. We have Debbie Whelan joining us from the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. We have the CEO and executive director of ASHRA in the healthcare industry joining us. We've got Amber Lawrence, who's also focused on DE&I, joining us from the Mortgage Bankers Association. And we've even pulled together a session all around how you can differentiate your industry and focus on workplace happiness and safety and overall employee well-being. And we've invited Jackson Kirchis from Happiness Means Business to talk to us on Manufacturing and Transportation Day.
I'm very excited about that particular session because I think we are getting to, back in the day, I mean, wanted ads used to be, hey, we'll pay you, $7 an hour, $8 an hour, $9 an hour. Like that was the differentiating factor. Now there's so much more where we focus on the well-being of employees, and the different industries are going to have to focus on different things, which I think is what Industry Week is all about, right? Ryan King at Regions is going to have to focus on a different sort of happiness offerings than Meredith will at DHL, right? They're both large organizations, but they have to focus on different things. You get to hear their story and what's successful for them. We dove into it a little bit there around the happiness. What other topics will be covered? Obviously, these industries have different challenges, right? We talk about retail and hospitality, and I know things have changed in the hotel industry drastically, where they've changed processes and things like that. What sort of topics are going to be covered throughout this that people are really going to get knowledge from?
Well, we tried to be really thoughtful about focusing our content in topics that really dive into what matters most for the professionals in each of these industries. So you did touch on it a little bit. I mean, with retail, depending on what time of year it is, they have huge high volume hiring challenges where they're opening a new location or they have to staff up to meet demand, whether it's at the beginning of the home and garden season or the beginning of spooky season going into Halloween, or the big rush at the end of the year when it comes to the holiday shopping and things like that. Even within retail, they all have different seasonality challenges, right? So we want to talk about seasonality and high volume hiring, and we're going to show ways that you can automate repetitive tasks and speed up that process to start to lower the burden on HR teams when they have to hire lots of people. We have the other big focus in retail is you've got to improve the candidate and employee experience of the people that are working for them already, so that they can encourage those people to choose retail as a long-term career and stay in the right role for the company they love instead of leaving and trying to go somewhere else. Retail is an amazing career. I think most of us started in retail. But there's so many opportunities for the industry to drive that longevity for their employees. And we know that most of retail organizations, they're all being run by a store manager or a district manager. So we have lots of topics about how you can change the manager experience in a retail hiring kind of a situation too. Restaurants and hotels, very similar. They have peak seasons, but they're also trying to engage that next generation of workers in hospitality careers. There's so much to do in hospitality. A lot of people always just think about, the front desk workers and the people that clean the rooms, right? And there's every single professional job you can think of, there's a place for you in hospitality. And that's what some of our sessions will talk about too. You got to address that. In healthcare, it's a little bit different. For an industry that's always on and has critical patient care responsibilities 24 hours a day, there's burnout. It's a tough job. And we are all so thankful for that work that they do, but it's becoming an issue as that population grows, as that aging population grows. Every single estimate you see out there is that there's going to be a major talent shortage, whether it's for hospital care or home health care um, we have to educate more people to go into healthcare roles, and the frontline clinical staff that manages the technology, manages scheduling, and treats, every single person that comes in as a unique patient. They're so critical. Hospitals have everything from food service to all the things that a hotel has, because you have people that are staying in the hospital. So it's a really unique industry. Manufacturing and transportation has huge skill gaps because of that shift that I was talking about, where everybody wants to be a social media manager now. They don't want to go work in a factory making cars. They don't want to go and drive a delivery truck. And the reality is that these companies are innovating and creating a culture where it's an amazing place to work, and they have to work together to find strategies to encourage that next generation of workers that may only be in middle school or high school right now to join manufacturing and transportation as a career in the future.
Yeah.
And you want to have that diverse staffing ready to take over as the industry continues to innovate. So we'll talk about those shortages. We'll talk about the skills gap. We'll talk about culture. And it's really important too to find ways that AI and automation that's being used to change manufacturing and how we create goods goes over into the way that we hire and manage our teams too. So we have a great session about AI and that automation that we can provide. I'm going on here, but it's so exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Financial services is the last one. And it's one of those things where attracting top talent in such a competitive environment is really, really tough. Everything from frontline to, advanced financial topics and engagements. You have to be able to show how you from others. So employer branding and telling your unique story is really, really important. How to leverage tools to help automate that hiring process. And AI is something that's going to change financial services moving forward. There's a lot of concern in a highly regulated industry like this on how they can use AI and not run into problems. So we have an amazing session all around how the HR industry can use really responsible AI to enhance security and compliance in this industry rather than cause roadblocks. So about this, but those are some of the ways that we've been thinking about the topics and how we've organized the content.
No, I think it's great. And although very specific to each industry, it sounds like there could be tidbits that, if you are in the hotel industry, that you can potentially get ideas. Dare I say, steal ideas from other industries. It's not limited to that. Just because you're not in the finance industry, you mentioned some of the regulation. It's going to come down the pipe for the rest of, I think, workers and things like that. We've noticed that with the AI compliance laws. We've noticed that with things like GDPR, where hiring has, some of these, I don't want to say roadblocks or concerns, but they have some rules that they have to follow, right?
Yeah.
And also the way that, in a highly competitive market like retail, the way that they market themselves to get talent in the door could be something that you use in retail. So it sounds like there, even if you miss, some of the sessions from your first one, number one, I think you can watch it on demand. I will ask you that in a moment, but also you can, an hour and a half, you can eat lunch on Friday and watch one of them. Dare I say, Saturday morning, August 3rd, Bill, you could binge watch the entire industry week if you want to. But you mentioned a lot of the topics, a lot of the ideas and thought processes that are going to be dived into. Is there one session that you particularly are most excited for? I think you gave it away a little bit earlier, but I want to see if you change your mind.
That's not fair. You're a dad too. That's like picking my favorite kid. I can't really do that.
That's true. That's true.
No, listen, if I really have to, I'm super proud of the topics that our Phenom experts are going to present to this audience. Yeah. Obviously, we want to show the way that our technology can help solve these challenges. But I think each day the can't miss sessions are these fireside chats with our ambassadors and the HR leaders from some of these amazing companies that are innovating and changing the way that their companies attract, hire, and retain the teams that make their businesses run, right? These are some of the most impactful advocates for innovation and change and policies that make their industries thrive. And I'm so excited to share that knowledge and those resources with everyone that registers for our event.
Yeah. Where can folks register?
So you can go to industryweek.phenom.com. You can register for one day, or you can register for all 5. I think there's amazing content that's really applicable to everyone that's an HR professional. And I hope you register for multiple days. Yeah. And you're right. Like, you can register if you can't attend the whole hour and a half. You know, we have it broken up into bite-sized, really consumable sessions. But about an hour after we wrap our live broadcast every day, all of those sessions are going to be available on demand. So you can share them with your colleagues. You can go back and refer back to it and get that contact information so that you can engage with people after the event too.
Awesome. Yeah, I think on demand is huge, right? I mean, everyone's schedule is crazy now. We can't all binge watch shows like we do The Bear or things like that. And work happens, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting on a webinar and I get a Slack and I have to hop away. So definitely register for the event, and then you can watch it on demand. Bill, any final thoughts before we hop off, before we put the finishing touches on Industry Week for next week that you'd like to share?
No, I know everyone's super busy. You know, everyone needs to work together in this industry to figure out how to navigate these HR challenges. And I think leveraging technology to be proactive and drive success in your business is a huge way of going towards not just reacting to business needs and chasing that next request from your leadership, right? I think the real world examples and the practical advice that we're going to share during Industry Week next week are super, super valuable for anyone looking to enhance their HR strategies. We want to do this more and more for each of these industries, and we would love feedback. We crave interaction from everybody that's attending this. Please get in the chat, ask questions, and we're just really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to be there as well, Bill. I will be in the chat in the comments section, and I hope everything goes smoothly. We're going to have a great week. And 5 days, it's a lot. It's longer than I Am Phenom. It's longer than HR Tech. That's how much content is here. But I love that it's also bite-sized, and you don't have to fly to Las Vegas or get caught in any travel nightmares that may be happening Absolutely. At that moment in time. Bill, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to it. And we'll have you again, maybe for a recap of Industry Week with some highlights.
I'm here. That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
That was Bill Van Tyker talking all about Industry Week, which starts next week, July 29th through August 2nd. We mentioned that there are specific industries each day, and it's bite-sized content. It's no longer than an hour and a half. It's shorter than a Marvel movie, so you will not want to miss this. I noticed that Monica had chimed in the chat that we had some technical difficulties on LinkedIn. I think that we got those rectified. But if you missed any of today's episode, you can always watch the full clip on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe while you are there. We got to boost those YouTube numbers up. And the episode will, of course, be on Apple Music and Spotify and everywhere else that you get your podcast shortly after I edit it and get it out the door. In the meantime, there will be no TXL next week. I'm sorry. Instead, it's Industry Week. So definitely tune in on a Thursday for Industry Week, and every other day, Monday through Friday, we are here. And I hope everyone has a safe, happy, and healthy weekend, and we will see you real soon. Thanks so much.